Do you still give the gift? I don't know. I am asking other people and they're like, oh, well, maybe you should. And then they're like, absolutely not.
What's up, family? Make sure to hit the like button on your way in and come closer. I'm going to keep my mouth shut until we watch and listen together, but I'll give you a little bit of backstory. Let's listen to the sister, no pun intended, literally sister, as in her brother, explain her distaste at her brother's wedding and listen to her reasoning. We're going to have a conversation about this at the end, but just listen. Okay, let's go.
And you accept the invitation. They ask you what you want to eat because they know that you're vegan, or let's just like insert any other dietary restriction, right? They know that. And they're like, what do you want to eat? Because it's not going to be on the catered menu. You give them the simplest thing, Chinese food. You write it out. They're like, bet, I'll send it to the coordinator. And you're like, okay. Also, there are about 8 different spots near the church that you're getting married at where you can just get it from. They're like, no problem. I'll probably get it the day before and just heat it in the mic. I don't even have a problem with that. Cool. But that's not what happened, right? You get a call like 2 hours before the wedding, 2.5 hours. And the coordinator's like, so where do I get this from? Where do you order from? Ma'am, what are you talking about? And so I'm like, any Chinese store, just Google it. They're all the same. It'll taste good, right? I don't even care if it doesn't taste good. Like, I just want something to eat. I want my child to have something to eat. And I want something to eat. I want my child to have something to eat. And then they're like, okay, working on it. And then an hour before, they're like, how close are you to the church where, the family members are getting married? And I'm like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They're like, okay, can you go pick up the food? I placed an order. Can you go pick? I will not. No, I will not. Why would I go do that? That doesn't even make sense. Do you still give the gift? I don't know. I am asking other people and they're like, oh, well, maybe you should. And then they're like, absolutely not. Because you did all this driving. I didn't mention that, I had drove 5 hours to get to this wedding. So I'm arriving an hour before it starts, straight off the road. Ugh. I don't know. I want feedback. I want feedback. 1, I'm a Virgo, and 2, rigid, right? I said I'm a Virgo. You get it. Tell me what you think you would do, please. Let me just offer an apology and some clarity. 1, I feel like my question has really activated some untreated, unnamed, unhealed trauma in some of y'all, because the way my comments are just blowing up with all kinds of mess, it's a little funny. But the second thing is, maybe you need information, because it's clear that some of y'all didn't watch the video to completion. The first thing is that the wedding that I attended was for my brother, right? My brother and one of my best friends. He asked me, what are you going to eat? The caterer did not provide vegan options. So I try to just make it real simple. I chose Chinese because there are Chinese corner stores every 3 blocks, right? I Googled it. Everything around the church was easily accessible. The next thing is that what I didn't share was that the coordinator was my sister, right? I've been vegan for the majority of my life. And my brother already knew, he didn't really have complete faith in my sister, coming through on everything. And she didn't. It was a fail. It was a lack of just consideration. I think the other thing is that there was just ambivalence about, whether my daughter and I ate if I wasn't willing to do the labor. And that's absurd to me, because what I'm looking for is reciprocation, right? In any relationship I have, relationships are transactional. We can try and say that they're not, but indeed they are. So if I'm giving you the best, right? Top tier, I expect that. And if you can't reciprocate, then we just have a new baseline of functioning, right? The love is always there, but I'm going to give you what you give me, because it needs to be balanced. And, here's, I don't want to get too deep, but some of y'all responses are really rooted in patriarchy and colonialism. I'm not the caretaker for my brother. I'm not the caretaker for anyone else. Asking me to do extra labor is absurd when I am a guest, indeed, right? I drove 5 hours, spent $500, and that was...
Oh my gosh, I can't. That was so hard to get through. Here's my thing. You ruined your brother's wedding, and that's my opinion, and I'm entitled, just like you're entitled to your food choices. He will forever have this stigma surrounded by his special day because you decided to go and post it on social media, a public platform for the world to see, because you wanted everyone to think of you on someone else's special day. If I was his wife, I would literally probably avoid you throughout my marriage to your brother, because this was distasteful, it was immature, and it was tacky. I understand that driving 5 hours is a stretch. Gas is expensive, but you have no idea, maybe you're single, not married, what anyone goes through with planning their special day and all the details. It was almost as if you were waiting for your sister, who was the coordinator, to fail, to say, I told you so. Granted, yes, should you have food? Absolutely, but I'm sure there was something that you yourself could have done to not make this about you. Your brother just got married, one of the biggest commitments next to purchasing a home that you can make. And you ran to social media to talk about the vegan options that were not made available to you, and even declined picking them up yourself because you shouldn't have to. And on top of which, wanted to withhold a gift. I would never invite you to any function whatsoever. This right here is socially irresponsible. There was no reason to go to social media for this. I'm embarrassed for the brother and the wife that now has to have you associated with their special day. There's no way I can side with this type of behavior. It's tacky, and you owe them an apology, and that's my opinion. As always, draw your own conclusion and stay true to you, and avoid people like this.